Good morning, everybody. It has just gone 10 o'clock this Thursday morning. You're listening to Jim White, Martin Keown and Stuart Pearce, and we're live in talkSPORT. It's a different tone this morning, everybody, due to some devastatingly sad news. Liverpool forward Diogo Jota has died in a car crash in Spain at the age of 28. His brother, Andre Felipe, has also lost his life in the crash. The accident occurred near the Zamora region of Sanabria in Spain. As I mentioned, with me this morning is Martin Keown and Stuart Pearce. And we will be reflecting on what is a terribly sad morning and desperately sad news. We're just trying to come to terms with the news ourselves, I have to say. Liverpool fans, and of course before Liverpool he played for Wolverhampton Wanderers. What I would say is this, not at this stage, but later on this morning, maybe in this hour, maybe in the next hour, if you would care to join us on air and pay your own tribute, then you'd be very welcome to do so. Just take time out at this stage to think about that, and if you feel that you'd like to join us further down the line, then you would be very welcome indeed to do just that. I'll bring the number to you in the course of events, but for the moment, just bear that in mind. You'll be welcome to join us on air this morning. Diogo Jota. The accident, as we understand it, occurred on a stretch of road, the A52, near the Zamora region of Sanabria in Spain. Diogo Jota died when the vehicle he was travelling in with his brother Andre, who's also a 26-year-old professional footballer from Penafiel, went off the road causing a fire. According to witnesses, the car was engulfed in flames. Diogo Jota got married 10 days ago to his partner Ruta Cardoso, and the couple have 3 children. As I said at the top, bear with us. It's a different tone for obvious reasons, but it's desperately sad news. Stuart Pearce is alongside Martin Keown. Boys, good morning to both of you. Stuart, live broadcasting it has a habit of catching us all out now and again, and this is one of those occasions. Diogo Jota and his brother both dying. This is desperately sad news, isn't it?
Well, it's absolutely incredible, Jim, to be fair. I mean, we come in this morning looking to do a show that was bright and upbeat and talk about the sporting events that have gone on over the last 24 hours. And this news has rocked the building. It really has literally rocked the building. The sombre mood that we've got here is incredible. The talent that he is. The Liverpool family will have to come together again and unite behind him and his family, and our regards go out to the family as well. The family have lost 2 sons here.
Stuart is absolutely right. Martin, you and I travelled from the 17th floor down to the 2nd floor with Stuart and a number of other people here in the news building, and not a word was said in the lift all the way down. This news is hitting everybody this morning.
Shocking, devastating news. Two young men, 2 brothers, enjoying an evening together, and suddenly it's gone. I mean, devastating, as of course for the family must be beside themselves. That the Liverpool again, another tragedy really that they're dealing with, and everybody else in the football world. It's really quite shocking, Jim.
We'll continue to reflect on this story. We'll bring more reaction to it, and we'll hopefully in the course of events bring more detail about what actually happened. But from London here, let's head out to Spain and join Spanish football expert Phil Kitromilides. Phil, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us at this desperately difficult time for everybody. What is the view from out there?
Morning, Jim. Really wish we were speaking under different circumstances and not on this tragic morning. I've been trying to find out a bit more information and trying not to speculate as to why this tragedy has happened, because I think it's important that we don't speculate what happened for this tragedy to occur. What I have been able to find out from people who know this stretch of road quite well is that this is not a twisting, turning, winding part of the motorway. It's actually quite a straight motorway. I was told that in some parts the tarmacking isn't brilliant, and there has been works done on this part of the motorway over the last couple of years. But the people that I spoke to who know this part of the motorway well say it is not a dangerous motorway. It is also a route, and again, we shouldn't really be speculating as to know why he was there, why were they driving like this, but this is a route that a lot of people take if they're in Madrid to go to Portugal. And this happened, where it happened is right on the border with Portugal. So it is a common route from people who are driving from Madrid to Portugal to go on this stretch of the road. So that's what I've been able to find out in terms of sort of details on the accident and where it happened. But yeah, the sense of shock is palpable in the Spanish sports journalist community, and also just online, the reactions that I've been seeing from, Spaniards, not Liverpool supporters, not people who necessarily follow the Premier League, but this overwhelming sense of, oh my goodness, what is this? It's just, it's actually quite overwhelming this morning.
It is, and when we break down the detail that we have at our disposal at the moment, Phil, and it's very early, Diogo has lost his life, and so too has his younger brother, Andre. And then you add to that the news that Diogo Jota himself only got married 10 days ago to his partner, Ruta Cardoso, and they have 3 children. So the whole fact of the matter is that this boy has lost his life, but it's compounded by the fact that his brother has gone too. And only the other day he got himself married to his longtime sweetheart.
Yeah, which just, as you said, compounds the tragedy, makes it even more difficult to get your head around it, and makes it even sadder. There are pictures of that wedding online, on social media from just a few days ago, which just makes it sadder. And at the top of the programme, you were talking about the Liverpool family coming together. And I mean, this is going to hit people really hard. And I was just thinking now, I'm not a Liverpool fan, but I'm going to have to explain this to my son. My son knows who Diogo Jota is. He thinks he's a really good player. My son's 7. And I'm going to have to explain to him, he's gone. And like me, there's going to be tens of thousands of millions of people explaining to younger kids around the world, this guy's gone. So yeah, it's something that I think is going to affect everybody who is involved in football and loves football and has watched football, has enjoyed Diogo Jota play. It feels like this is something that is going to impact a lot of people. But obviously, this is just an unspeakable tragedy for the family and those who are directly involved.
Phil, if you would stay with me for a few more moments. Stuart Pearce is with me, so too is Martin Keown. We're getting more detail in. The Spanish police have just released a first statement on the crash that they confirm has killed Diogo Jota and his brother Andre. And the Guardia Civil say this: a road accident occurred at 12:30 a.m. this morning, so half an hour after midnight, at kilometre 65 of the A52 motorway in the municipality of Cernadia, Zamora. A vehicle left the road and everything indicates a tyre burst while overtaking. As a result of the accident, the car caught fire and both people were killed. So that is the latest news coming out from the Guardia Civil at this stage, Phil. And you were right about that stretch of road, the A52 near the Zamora region of Sanabria. So it appears a tyre burst has caused it while they were overtaking. And as a result of that, the car burst into flames and both people were killed. More news, Phil, not of a good sort, obviously.
No, but yeah, again, it's not necessarily for us to speculate as to what's happened. But if we're getting details of, it indicates that it was a tyre burst. That doesn't generally tend to happen on good roads, shall we say. So, yeah, let's see what has caused that tyre to burst. I was just looking online, and the first kind of notion that something had happened was at 8:15 or 8:16 Spanish time, when the local government of the Zamora province put out a tweet in Spanish, not naming anyone, saying 2 youngsters have died on the A52 in an accident. The regional firefighters came and got involved. The vehicle burst into flames, and the flames caused a local wildfire, which was then controlled. They were 28 and 26 years old. Rest in peace. That was the first indication, the first information we had about this accident at 8:16 Spanish time. But of course, nobody knew who was involved then. And then around about an hour and 20 minutes later, it was the newspaper Marca in Spain who broke the story. And then just the sense of incredulity, nobody could quite believe it. But then everybody was saying, well, they wouldn't be breaking this story if it wasn't true, and they weren't 100% certain. So that's a little bit the timeline of how this story was reported this morning.
Phil Kitchum-Leaders, thank you so much for joining us at this very difficult time. As I said, Stuart Pearce and Martin Keown are with me. Stuart, FC Porto, another football club said to be in mourning this morning. One of Diogo's former clubs. It is with shock and deep sorrow that we send our heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva, who is also our athlete in the youth ranks. Rest in peace. You guys played at the highest level. Diogo Jota played at the highest level. How does this impact any dressing room, Stuart?
Well, probably my experience going back, I was on the coaching staff at Manchester City. It's probably the best way to liken it. And Mark Vivian Foe was one of our players and lost his life on a football pitch. And the impact that had around the football club, in the dressing room, with teammates, is just immense, you know. And Liverpool have probably had one of the biggest highs that they've had, winning the Premier League this summer. And then obviously the traffic incident at the celebrations, followed by this as well. The highs and lows of life, if you like, are there for all to see in many ways. And listen, I don't think, I never knew Diogo. I've never met him before, but the impact it sort of had for everybody, the state of shock is quite incredible, you know, because of his age, because he was in his prime, because of his brother being with him at the time as well. You know, two members from the same family. It's just horrific.
As Stuart says, it's the detail that's coming out. His brother so sadly has gone too, Martin. Just days ago, barely 10 days ago, Diogo Jota got married to his partner, and they have 3 children of their own.
And his brother also a professional footballer, it has to be said. Jim, I think looking back, you were asking about, did it happen in our dressing room? No, fortunately it didn't, but Antonio Reyes was part of our 2004 group. He passed away some years after in similar circumstances, where a cousin of his also passed, and that was a tyre. I know they're speculating at the moment. A blowout to the tyre is the speculation now in this situation, and it's just a terrible tragedy to see it happen. I mean, he's got everything ahead of him, you know, 28 years of age and his brother 26. Huge loss, and the world of football is really massively in mourning right now.
Already many of you wanting to join us on air. As I say, you're welcome to do that. We will be doing that. Many Liverpool fans are calling in. Many Wolves fans are calling in, fans of other clubs as well, because you are hit just as hard as we have been this morning. There is Terry, who's an Evertonian. Jim, when I heard this news, I got a lump in my throat. Behind the Liverpool shirt is a married man with 3 young children. This is awful, devastating news for the entire football world. Our hearts go out to Diogo Jota. As I said, Liverpool fans, Wolves fans, you watch Diogo play in your club colours. If you would like to come on and join us and pay your own tributes, your own respects, then you're welcome to do so. Further down the line, Further down the line this morning, we'll take your calls. In the meantime, if you want to make a note of it, make a note of it. The number to call is 03717 223344. Diogo Jota, the desperately sad news this morning, at the age of 28, has died alongside his brother, who's 26, in a traffic accident in the province of Zamora in Spain. Stay with us. Jim White, Stuart Pearce, and Martin Keown. We're live in talkSPORT.
Plays that villain role very well now. That's crying out for a little bit more attention. It comes with a lot of crazy people. I took it personally and it kind of made me rebel a bit more. To be honest, I don't really care anymore. I'm never going to change.
Good morning, everybody. It has just gone 10:20 this Thursday morning. It's Jim White, it's Martin Keown, and it's Stuart Pearce. And we're with you live on talkSPORT. We're also, as we would do every morning, we're streaming live on YouTube and your smart TV. But every morning, I say every morning, it's not every morning. This is a different morning, and you'll detect a different tone in my voice. Normally, I'm very upbeat when I'm on with Simon, and we're presenting the show and bringing you another show, which proves to be very popular, and we're thrilled about that on talkSPORT. But it's a different tone this morning, and for that, I make no apology. The Liverpool forward, Diogo Jota, has died in a car crash in Spain. He was 28 years of age. His brother, Andre Felipe, has also lost his life in the crash. Martin and Stuart are with me, as I mentioned. We've been joined by another regular on this show. Former Liverpool midfielder Danny Murphy joins us. Danny, it's a very difficult time for everybody, not just someone like yourself associated with the football club, but for everybody in general, to talk at a time such as this. Diogo Jota has lost his life. Danny, what was your reaction when you heard this news?
Heartbreaking. I was shocked, like all of us. We all love football, Jim, don't we? We all have a passion for it, whether winning, losing, who our team should sign. All seems to become a bit irrelevant. It puts things in perspective when you hear news like this. It's just absolutely heartbreaking for everybody concerned.
Stuart made a good point earlier on, Danny. This is the highs and lows of football. I mean, a young man has lost his life, regardless of the profession he was in. But he plays for an extremely high-profile football club who only recently won the Premier League title. And there were huge celebrations after that. And Danny, now this. Talk about highs and lows.
Well, it's highs and lows of life, unfortunately, not just football. I mean, Liverpool seem to have to deal with tragedies over the years, as you know, Jim, so often. But the Liverpool family will come together. They always do. There's a togetherness in the city with the people after all the things they've been through. The players, the staff, the fans, they're going to have to come together and try and find a way to inspire themselves by using this and try and kick on for Diogo. You know, I've never had to experience as a player losing a fellow player, so I can't even anticipate what some of those players are going through. But he will be remembered so fondly for the goals, for the creativity, for the humility. Supposed to be a great lad. I haven't met him, but I've got friends who work on the staff at Liverpool who speak very well of him. I suppose the best judge of a man really when they have setbacks, you know. He's had a couple of really bad injuries. He sometimes isn't in the first 11. And what does he do? He comes on, he works tirelessly, he comes up with important goals, he plays for the team, he plays in any position he's asked. I don't know what the lads think, but, you know, when you see that attitude of a player, it tells you a lot about the man, I think.
Very much so. Stuart's with me, so too is Martin. Stuart, before you come in, Danny, your club, Liverpool Football Club, have just released a statement. Liverpool Football Club are devastated by the tragic passing of Diogo Jota. The club have been informed the 28-year-old has passed away following a road traffic accident in Spain along with his brother Andre. Liverpool Football Club will be making no further comment at this time and request the privacy of Diogo and Andre's family, friends and teammates and club staff is respected as they try to come to terms with an unimaginable loss. We will try to provide them with the appropriate support. So that's your club, Danny, making the kind of statement you would expect them to make. It's hard to imagine, Danny, Stuart, Martin, how the boys in that dressing room are going to come to terms with this. Either in the short term or the long term. May I add, we're a month away from the start of the season, Stuart.
Yeah, I think there's a scenario here. If you could paint the worst possible scenario, two young men at a very young age, one of them just married 10 days ago with 3 young children passing away, and the impact that has on their family first and foremost, Jim, but on and beyond that, the ripple effects. I mean, Danny knows what it's like to come into this building. Dan, you won't believe what it's like in here and how sombre it is at the moment. The news has actually rocked everybody here. And I think it's going to be so important for the... They certainly can't replace these two, but certainly for the whole of the football family in our country and the Liverpool football family coming together to support the family.
First
Absolutely.
of all, I think.
Sorry, Martin. Go on.
Yeah, Danny. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers should be ultimately with the family. That ultimately, I mean, it's the football family, but the parents, his wife, 3 young children. This is. I mean, life is just like a candle flickering in the wind, isn't it? And we go with the good grace of God every day. And these 2 guys have gone, and it's just like it brings it all home, really. Just we just cling, don't we, to life, and we should, so we have to reflect. There's a massive period of mourning here now, Jim, really, for his close family. All that's going to be respected.
The club, Martin, will look after. They'll do that. They really will. They're very good in that respect, and hopefully he will get a wonderful send off, probably on the opening game. Hopefully his family will be there to see how loved and appreciated he was, because he will be remembered really fondly, because he's created some magic moments in the memories of those Liverpool fans. I mean, everyone will remember him differently, depending what games you were at or how you remember, which goal you remember. And I think for the players, just mentioning that briefly, you 2 have played, you understand, you create real bonds with those players you've been with at the club a long time. Not with everyone, but the majority of you go through those emotions, those roller coasters together, winning things, losing finals. There's going to be some help needed for those individual boys who were really close to him, of course, and his Portuguese teammates. Let's not forget them. So I'm sure the club will be very aware of supporting the players as well. It won't just be a simple case of a send-off. There's going to be... We just don't know how it's going to affect certain members of the team. But it's kind of right now, the football side of it, I find it difficult to comprehend the conversation around that, because it's just not important right now.
Danny, I know it was tough. Thank you for joining us. Danny Murphy with us this morning. Thanks, Dan. We'll see you very soon. Many fans, Stuart, Martin, many fans of many clubs getting in touch with us here. We're absolutely swamped by tributes coming in, not just from Liverpool fans, but fans of every club, it seems, who are joining us this morning with their tributes to Diogo Jota. I'm seeing one there. Jim, this is Maliki from Belfast. I'm a Manchester United fan, a huge Manchester United fan at that. I have a heart of stone listening to this. I'm so sorry about this. May God bless these 2 men and comfort their poor family and their friends. God bless from everybody at Manchester United, but every football fan everywhere. Maliki, thank you very much indeed for that. So we'll hear more tributes, no doubt, after the break. I apologise for the tone this morning. It's hit us all. Stuart Pearce is with me alongside Martin. I mean, to say this building has been hit hard is putting it mildly. Goodness knows what it's like inside Anfield this morning, or inside Melwood at the training ground. Goodness only knows. We've been hit hard by this. Diogo Jota has died early this morning in a traffic accident alongside his brother, who also died. Diogo Jota was 28. Good morning, everybody. This is Thursday, July the 3rd. It's an extremely sad day for all of us. It's Jim White, it's Martin Keown, and it's Stuart Pearce, and we are live on talkSPORT. It's sad because of the desperately sad news we got just before we came on air. So it's a different tone this morning. Due to this devastatingly sad news, Liverpool forward Diogo Jota has died in a car crash in Spain at the age of 28. His brother Andre Felipe also lost his life in the crash. The accident occurred near the Zamora region of Sanabria in Spain. Diogo Jota got married only 10 days ago to his longtime partner Ruta Cardoso, and the couple have 3 children. In the last moments or so, I have a statement from UEFA. And UEFA say this: on behalf of the European football community, we are deeply saddened to learn of the tragic passing of Diogo Jota, Portugal international and Liverpool forward, along with his brother Andre Silva. Our thoughts are with their family, friends, teammates, and all of those affected by this heartbreaking loss. Of course, in his time in England, Diogo played for Wolves and caught the eye so much with the way he played and the goals he scored. He got a big move to Liverpool. He joined Liverpool in 2020 from Wolves for €44.7 million. And unsurprisingly, Liverpool fans are in mourning yet again this morning. We're joined, Stuart, myself and Martin are joined at this stage by Gareth Roberts from the Spirit of Shankly fan group. Gareth, good morning to you. I know this is desperately difficult for you, for everybody. But what was your reaction when you heard this news, Gareth?
It's incredibly sad, isn't it, Jim? And, you know, the first thing that came to mind was it didn't really feel real. It was one of those where you find yourself checking multiple sources to just confirm that it's really happened, because it's so devastating. And from there, once you do realise that it's real, your next thoughts are with his family. You know, how can you not think of his wife and his children? He's only 28 years old. His brother, 26, lost in the same accident. It's incredibly tragic, incredibly sad. You know, and anyone really, sort of, no matter who they are, if they're cut off in the prime of life, you know, it's hard not to feel empathetic and feel incredibly sad about it. And I think that's where we all are. You know, there's lots of messages going around this morning, lots of disbelief, lots of upset. And people are just still sort of taking it in at this stage, Jim, to be honest.
Stuart made a good point earlier on, Gareth. Such are the highs and lows of football.
Yeah.
I mean, football aside, this young man and his brother have lost their lives. And that in itself is desperately, desperately sad, Gareth. But then when we look at what he did for his profession, he was a top footballer. And he was your footballer, Gareth. How did Liverpool fans look at Diogo Jota when they saw him in the lineup week in, week out?
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I think the nature of football, Jim, you do become attached to players. You do feel like, you know, they're part of you. You know, we talk about a football family, don't we? And I think it's because, you know, if you're a true supporter, you put a whole lot of your life into supporting a football club, and therefore it's very, very difficult not to become attached to the players. And look, some more than others. And I think with Jota, he was well liked at Liverpool because he always put in 100%. He had a spirit about him. He had a fight about him. I think you could see that in the fact that, you know, his song was one of the ones that was sung the loudest and the longest every week on the COP. And that was because there was a bond there. That's because we saw something in him that, you know, was our spirit fed back to us almost, because, you know, like I say, he fought hard. He had a bit of character, a bit of fight, a bit of bite about the way he played football. And we like that. That tallied with how we feel about football in Liverpool. So, yeah, again, so incredibly sad. You know, such a short time after he's been married and had a major family event, a major life event. You know, only coming shortly after winning the Premier League as well. It really sort of puts it all into perspective. And as I said earlier, incredibly sad. Everyone just sort of taking it in at this moment. And I'm sure there'll be lots and lots of tributes heading his way, because we knew him as a footballer, and as a footballer, he was a fantastic one. What we knew of him as a man, he was a family man and a lovely man as well. So yeah, very, very difficult.
Gareth, our profession can be very tribal at times, but when you get a tragedy like this, you know that the whole of the football community comes together. The sombre feeling in our building at the moment at talkSPORT is quite unbelievable, and the whole of football, some of the calls that have come in for Jim, the unity of football gives you an uplift, if anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm involved in a supporters trust in Spirit of Shankly, and obviously we engage with other supporter trusts around the country, and lots of those have been in touch this morning. Newcastle fans, Tottenham fans, Wolves fans who of course share a love for Jota as well, Everton fans. I've had lots and lots of messages. We as a group have had lots of messages this morning. And you're right, this is one where anything tribal is put aside. It's just shocking. It's someone that, we all appreciate football, and we all appreciate footballers, don't we? And we see these people at the very top of the profession producing a great spectacle for us week in, week out. And to have a sort of a main protagonist, a main actor in all of that taken away in such a shocking manner, I think it does transcend rivalries and does transcend football. I think it's one of those stories that, anyone out there who's got any sort of empathy in them will be very sad about it.
Gareth Roberts from the Spirit of Shankly fan group. Gareth, I really do appreciate your time and your contribution. Thanks, and your chosen words.
Cheers.
Thank you for joining us. Martin and Stuart are with me. Diogo Jota, before he got his big move to Liverpool, as Gareth Roberts alluded to there with Stuart, was a Wolves player. He played over 130 times for Wolves and was a real favourite amongst the Wolves support. Danny is a Wolves fan who joins us on the show. Danny, good morning. What's your reaction to this sad news?
It's absolutely terrible, awful. I was absolutely gutted when I heard the news, and I suppose from everyone really, and all Wolves fans, unbelievably gutted for his family, especially his young children. But I just wanted to, from a personal perspective, we've had our ups and downs at Wolves over the years, but Jota, without a doubt, gave me my greatest ever memory as a Wolves fan. That quarter-final against Manchester United at Molineux, scoring that second goal that basically took us to Wembley for the first time in God knows how many years. And without a doubt, that's my greatest memory, and he was the one who gave me that memory. So, unbelievable player, and he'll be sorely missed as a person and as a player.
Danny, thank you for that. As Danny speaks there, Stuart Martin, Wolves fans this morning in big numbers are recognising in their eyes a player who gave them 100% every time he pulled on the Wolves shirt. There's Gaz. He was a real 100%er, a great professional. This is so heartbreaking. I'm listening to you. I've had to pull over at the side of the road this morning. This is so sad to hear this news. Gaz, thank you for that. But of course, as I mentioned, he left Wolves and went on to Liverpool and has become a real favourite, with the Liverpool fans. And then what do you know? They do it and they win the Premier League title. And Diogo was a big part of that. Sandra is a Liverpool fan who wants to join us. Sandra, thanks for taking the time to join us on air. Stuart's with me, so too is Martin. How are you trying to come to terms with this news?
Well, I have to say I'm heartbroken. As a family, Liverpool Football Club, the players, we've had the most amazing time. The memories that I've shared with my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, son-in-law, it's my best friends. It's just heartbreaking. 28, just married, a lovely, quiet, unassuming man, caused no dramas. He's going to be sorely lost. It's awful.
Sandra, thank you very much indeed. Many fans, Liverpool fans, many Wolves fans, many fans of many other clubs are calling in this morning, and that's fine. You know the number, 03717 223344. If you want to send me a message, 81089. Stuart Pearce is alongside Martin Keown as we react to the desperately sad news this morning. And it's hit everybody hard, not only in the world of football, but in general. Diogo Jota, at the age of 28, has died earlier this morning in Spain in a traffic accident in the province of Zamora. And his younger brother has also died alongside him, Andre, a 26-year-old professional footballer from Penafiel. The car went off the road, causing a fire, and the two boys have lost their lives. Good morning, everybody. It is coming up to 10 to 11 this Thursday morning. It's Jim White on talkSPORT. Alongside me, two great friends, two great players in their day, Martin Keown and Stuart Pearce. And we're all trying to come to terms this morning, forgive us, with the news that broke just as we were coming on air. So it's a different tone, and you'll understand why. If you haven't heard the news, then I'm afraid I've got some devastatingly sad news to bring to you. The Liverpool forward Diogo Jota has died in a car crash in Spain at the age of 28. His brother Andre Felipe also lost his life in the crash. The car left the road and reports coming through to say it burst into flames. Of course, before he joined Liverpool, and he was a Portugal international as well, so he was a renowned player and an extremely talented player with his whole career ahead of him still. But he was at Wolves before he went to Liverpool, and in the last few moments, Wolves have issued a statement. We're heartbroken. Diogo was adored by our fans, loved by his teammates, and cherished by everyone who worked with him during his time at Wolves. The memories he created will never be forgotten. Our hearts go out to the family, friends, and loved ones of Diogo and his brother Andre. You will be truly missed and always remembered. Former Wolves goalkeeper and a broadcaster these days, Matt Murray, joins us on the show. Matt, good morning. I'm so sorry about the circumstances, Matt, but thanks for joining myself and Stuart and Martin. What is your reaction to this sad news, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely devastated, gutted. I'm in shock. And I was in shock about around a year ago this time, when we lost Matej Sarkic. And I'd only been chatting to Matej that morning, and we lost him just over a year ago. And then you see the messages coming through on your phone, and you're like, what's going on? And then you check, and you're just in disbelief. I believe he just got married as well. He was the nicest guy, and the memories start coming back of that team with that Nuno built. You know, that he was part of that first season in the Championship and the team that Nuno built. And Diogo was just so humble. I had the pleasure a few times being around the training ground, talking to him, listening about his career, how he was, and he's just really, really humble. The Wolves fans loved him. John Ruddy's just sent me a message there. He's absolutely devastated. So for the lads that are actually in that dressing room with him, I don't know how. And for his family, he lost his brother as well. You just, as a parent, you're just devastated. But the memories come back. He was such a fantastic player. I love watching him play for Wolves. Then I just looked on my phone there. I've got a picture of him with my little boy and his mates. I was outside Molineux. They just beaten Wolves. He saw me, and he hadn't seen me since he left. He comes over, takes time with my little boys and his mates, has photos, and that's a measure of the guy. He was an amazing person. Truly, truly missed, like you said, so much ahead of him. Married, just won the Premier League, and yeah, absolutely devastated and gutted and just in disbelief.
Matt, forgive me, but moments ago, I showed this picture to Martin and to Stuart of your lovely three lads with the three kids and Diogo, which I have in front of me. And was this towards the tail end of the season there? Was this just at the end?
No, it's when they beat. No, they came to Molineux. I think it was around September time.
Right.
Diogo played up front, got a fantastic reception from the Wolves fans as always. We made it 1-1 Wolves, I say we, and then Salah had the penalty, and then my little boy is the one in the Wolves top, and then his two best mates.
I see him. Yeah,
and they love meeting the players. And by the way, all the Liverpool lads are brilliant, but Diogo took that extra time. And he stopped and he spoke to them, and he'd go and sign autographs, and he just really was. And the team that Nuno built, a big thing he wanted from that team was to stay humble. And this is a guy that came to Wolves from Atletico Madrid. He'd gone from Champions League football to the Championship, and it was when the Mendes era just started. And it was like, how have we got this guy? And I can just remember him, how he carried the ball. And I'm sure Stuart and Martin will say that he wasn't the biggest of guys, but he was strong. He was so good in the air, and he never gave defenders a rest the way he carried the ball. So he was really, really hard for defenders to play against. He was brilliant in Championship, then transitioned into the Premier League, then was sold to a big profit. But as I say, the way he came over, he just, he's got all these people screaming for him, and he came and he took that time. And that's what I think people give modern day footballers. They say, they're not in touch with the fans. He really, really was a fantastic human being. And that's why I just looked at that photo. And my little boy, when he hears about it, will be gutted, because he was like, he's come and spoken to me, and he watched him on the telly, and truly gutted. But what he did for Wolves fans will always remember that.
Isn't that brilliant to hear, Stuart? The little lad, you can see it in his face when he's meeting Jota.
I think see it. Yeah, I think as players as well, you underestimate the power that you have as role models on a football pitch. And he's one of those, revered by the Wolverhampton supporters, revered by the Liverpool fans, but behind that is a person. and you know, Matt knows him tighter than myself, definitely. It's the person behind the footballer as well that is the sad thing that we've lost today.
Yeah,
Matt, many Wolves fans getting in touch, and they're underlining what you said. When he played, he gave everything. He gave absolutely everything on the field of play.
Yeah, he left it all out there. I mean, I can think that obviously we ended up losing the semi-final to Watford, but he was outstanding. We all went down to to Wembley and we watched that, and the work rate, the way he carried the ball, the kicks he took. He wasn't the biggest of guys, but he talked about that when you spoke to him off the pitch about how he had to fight and it wasn't easy for him in his career and the resilience he showed. But yeah, and that's what all fans want to see. When these players come in and they put on whatever shirt, Wolves is a working class club, you know, and when they see players put on that old gold and black, they want to see him give everything, take the knocks and this, and he just, whether it was in possession, out possession, but for someone who was so small, the way he headed the ball and his time and his intelligence, so a fantastic footballer, but like Stuart said there, above anything else, he was an amazing human being who took time around the training ground for people, fans outside the gates, and that's why it'll just be so missed in every way. And my heart just goes out to his family. I don't know how anybody can come back from a family. I just feel for his parents. He's just got married. It's devastating, absolutely devastating.
Matt, thanks for your words. I appreciate you coming on. Matt Murray, former Wolves goalkeeper, broadcaster these days. Stuart and Martin are alongside me. We're with you all the way through until 1 o'clock. As I say, if you want to pick up the phone at any time, give us a call. Many of you are doing that. 03717 223344. The host of Sunday Edition on talkSPORT, top journalist, good friend of ours, Henry Winter, joins us on the show. Henry, I don't know what you're thinking at the moment, but this has thrown everybody, hasn't it?
It's desperate. I mean, your thoughts and prayers immediately go out to his wife. You know, what they married 10 days ago, the beautiful pictures he posted on Instagram of his wife, his new wife, who'd obviously known for a long time, and their 3 lovely kids standing there in the cathedral. And at the heart of this, as Matt was saying, Stuart, and you've all been saying, you know, it's a human tragedy. We can look at the footballing loss and talk about, you know, his qualities as a player, but we should really focus on his qualities as a human being. And he was just as one of the reasons why Liverpool wanted to bring him from Wolves, because they knew he was a good character. They knew he would fit in immediately, obviously as a footballer, because we know his footballing talents, but because of the way he was as a person. And I think that was actually reflected in the way he played. He played with a smile. He was a very happy, upbeat, popular character with fans, with players. But yeah, your heart absolutely goes out to his family, and obviously to those close to his brother, Andre Silva, who was a sort of decent player, second tier, and he's been taken from us as well.
Nothing prepares you for anything like this. I always find that, Henry, and when a moment like this comes, I mean, what I'm witnessing here at talkSPORT is quite amazing. You know, they're adversaries throughout the season, these top clubs and the fans of these top clubs. But this morning, everybody comes together. Do they not?
But they do, Jim, and that's one of the football's many redeeming factors, one of its many strengths.
Yes.
That in times of adversity, everyone rallies, and the sort of petty tribal rivalries are absolutely forgotten. So, going back, 30 years, the first person on the phone to Kenny Dalglish, now Sir Kenny Dalglish, was Alex Ferguson from his great rivals, Manchester United, after Hillsborough, called him, what can we do? How can I help individually? How can we help as a club? Football has a history of this. I mean, it's absolutely no consolation to his family, who would just be utterly bereft at the moment, his friends and family. But football will rally round, and Liverpool has a history of rallying round as a city, as a community, as a club, and they will be strong for Jota's family. But it's just, it's just beyond comprehension. You know, he has so much going for him off the pitch, on the pitch, obviously a beautiful life, beautiful career, and it's just devastating.
Henry, thank you for joining myself and Stuart and Martin and everybody on listening to talkSPORT this morning. The tributes are pouring in, absolutely pouring in. Raul Jimenez, of course, former teammate of Diogo Jota's at Wolves. He says, it's hard receiving this type of news. I still can't believe it. A great teammate, friend, and above all, a great father. Thanks for everything, friend. We will always remember you. Rest in peace, Diogo Jota. And tonight, and I don't know if it's come to many people's attention, but the Women's Euros tonight, Spain women play Portugal women. That is tonight. And in the last few moments, another message is coming in that UEFA announces that a moment of silence will be observed at all of today's and tomorrow's UEFA Women's Euro 2025 matches in memory of Portuguese international and Liverpool forward Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva, who tragically passed away earlier today. Stay with us this morning. As difficult it is to listen, as difficult as it is to broadcast the news, stay with us. It's Jim White, Stuart Pearce and Martin Keown on talkSPORT. Good morning, everybody. It has just gone 11 o'clock this Thursday morning, Thursday, July the 3rd. It's Jim White. Alongside me, Martin Keown, Arsenal Invincible. And one of the greatest players England has produced, of course, and a stalwart England international, Nottingham Forest favourite, and Newcastle. Stuart Pearce is alongside me as well. If you detect a different tone to the show, then you would be right. There is a different tone to the show this morning. And this is why, because just as we came on air, we got the devastatingly sad news. Liverpool forward Diogo Jota has died in a car crash in the early hours of this morning in Spain at the age of 28. His brother Andre Felipe has also lost his life in the crash. The accident occurred near the Zamora region of Sanabria in Spain. Diogo Jota got married 10 days ago to his partner Ruta Cardozo, and the couple have 3 children together. The entire football world has been rocked. We've all been rocked. As Stuart has pointed out this morning, this building is very, very different today. The news building here at London Bridge. Everybody's walking around in a state of disbelief, I have to say. Goodness knows what it's like in other countries, in Spain and in Portugal. In fact, we're going to go to Portugal now because Diogo, Portuguese international, and had 49 caps to his name. The editor-in-chief of the Portuguese newspaper Record is Sergio Krin, and Sergio joins us on the show this morning. Sergio, good morning to you. I cannot imagine what your newsroom is like this morning. Can you give us a rough idea of the devastating reaction that this has had on all of you there?
Good morning. Yeah, it's devastating news, even for us. I mean, it's like we lost somebody we knew for a long time. It's especially the Diogo. He was the kind of kid that you would like to have around you. You know, like even his career as football player, he was not raised in the big academies of Porto or Sporting or Benfica. He went to a top level in a small club in Passos de Ferreira, and he managed to go to Atletico Madrid, to Porto, then finish in Liverpool. And there is something about him, about his personality, that you definitely should admire as a kind of guy who never lost his roots. He never lost his humbleness. So it's really devastating, even for the. If you can imagine as well, for a family to lose 2 brothers, those parents, I can't imagine what's the feeling they're going through right now.
Sergio, I'm with 2 fellas who you will know, of course. Martin Keown, a huge player for Arsenal and for England. Stuart Pearce, similarly, Nottingham Forest in England. Stuart made an amazing point just in the last half hour, and you've backed it up. Everybody talks about how humble Diogo was, not just as a player, but as a man.
Oh, yeah, that's it. He was not the very typical football star, you know. He was really a nice guy. I remember during the pandemic, the COVID, we were all locked out in our homes, and newspapers had to keep putting something out. Published something, and we had it was my colleague. We had a big long interview with him, and he was a really cool, nice kid. He was a champion of video games, the FIFA, the football video games. He really won trophies on that, and it's the kind of kid that could be your son, could be your nephew, could be your grandson. I don't know. It's the kind of kid that it's the next boy. And you see him. He was playing at the top level. He was, as you said, playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world, almost 50 caps for Portugal. And when he was 20, he was playing for Passos de Ferreira. You could see how his career was amazing in the sense that, and I think it shows a lot how the man was as well. Because normally, if you are a football player, if you are 19, 20, and you're still at Passos de Ferreira, which is a really small club in Portugal, your career is not going to take you to Liverpool. And it did, because he was hardworking, kept himself close to his roots, close to his family. And this is I cannot, more than the football player, I think about the man and the son and the husband and the father of three that we lost. It's a huge tragedy. And right now in Portugal, you see all the reactions. He played for Porto for a season, and normally there's a big rivalry between the clubs, but all the clubs, Sporting, Benfica, they are all showing their condolences and mourning the Diogo. And you see also a statement from the President of the Republic, of the Prime Minister. Everybody in Portugal is really shocked and devastated for what had happened.
And of course, what we shouldn't forget, and we're not forgetting, Sergio, is that Diogo's brother, Andre Felipe, has also lost his life. And this is a young boy, 2 years younger than Diogo. He was 26. He was a footballer as well, yeah?
Yeah, playing for Penafiel, second league team in Portugal, yeah.
Yeah. Sergio, it's difficult for me to put this to you, but I will. Probably in recent days, you were covering Diogo Jota in a totally different way for your newspaper, because Diogo only got married 10 days ago to his partner Ruta Cardoso, and they have 3 children, and no doubt all of Portugal must have loved that story.
Yeah, we don't have this big tabloid press as there is in UK, so it was not something that we paid a lot of attention to in the stories in the media. Okay, there was social media, there was even Diogo. He posted some pictures on his Instagram account of the wedding and some pictures also with the children. And I think that the youngest children was like 6 or 7 months old. It's really young. But yeah, I thought you were mentioning a month ago Diogo was in the Portuguese national team who won the Nations League, and actually I was talking to a friend of mine who is in the Portuguese FA this morning, and he was telling me that he was celebrating with Diogo. He was hugging Diogo after they won the trophy. And the guy was like the coolest person there, the nicest guy, the nicest player around. He was really friendly to all the staff, all the people who worked around the team, not only with the football players. And he was an example to everyone. And I think that's why we are so sad right now. It's not because it's also always tragic to have a 28-year-old lose his life like this. A football player who is adored by millions, of course it's tragic, but in this case particularly it's really hurting us because it's someone who is a great example as well.
And only at the age of 28 he'd notched up almost half a century of caps for your country, Sergio, your country, for Portugal, 49 caps. I mean, you must have been so proud of him.
Yeah, and because he didn't have a track record in the youth national teams, because he was not playing for big clubs, and it's in Portugal most of the players, especially for young national teams, most of them are from Benfica, Porto, Braga. He only joined the national team in the under 19s, so he was not in the under 17s, under 18s. He was never there. So when he started to play in the first team of Passos de Ferreira, he had a chance to go to the national team. In this 10 years, 8 years maybe, he managed to get 49 caps, full caps for his country, which shows how good he was as a footballer as well. It's not that easy for someone. There's not many examples of football players who are not coming from the youth academies of the big clubs to reach this level. I don't remember many. Maybe Pauleta did that as well, but it shows a lot how he faced football, how he faced life, and how he had a career of never giving up and always reaching the highest level. And he did that year after year. Leaving Porto, went to Atletico Madrid. Okay, did not play so much in Atletico Madrid. Came back to Porto. Then Wolves. In Wolves, he was an amazing transfer to Liverpool. I think they paid around £50 million back then to sign him. And people suddenly realized, okay, this is a top Portuguese player. He's among the best, among
Sergio, I was going to Stuart Pearce, I think, and Martin will come in a second.
Yeah.
But your most famous footballer, Cristiano Ronaldo, Sergio, has just said, doesn't make any sense. Just now we were together in the national team. Just now you were married. To your family, to your wife and children, I send my condolences and wish them all the strength in the world. I know you will always be with them. Rest in peace, Diogo and Andre. We will miss you both. That was Cristiano Ronaldo moments ago, Sergio, and there's going to be more and more of this throughout the day. But that's from your most famous player, who recognises Diogo Jota, the footballer, but more importantly, Diogo Jota, the man, Sergio.
Yeah, it's something which is common to everybody who has dealt with him, that knows him, that they always say, yeah, that's the great footballer, but there's even a better person behind the footballer. And I see also Jose Mourinho had made a statement right now saying that it's a tremendous injustice. And I saw also LeBron James, the basketball player, the NBA player. So you can see the dimension of this tragedy when someone like LeBron James has also posted something.
Yes, indeed. Sergio, just before you leave us, here is Stuart.
Yeah, Sergio, the footballing family in this country have come together in mourning, but I think we've been really fortunate in this country to have a role model as hardworking, as humble as Diogo in our midst for so long, and what he stood for as a man and as a footballer as well.
Sergio, thank you for giving us that insight on
thank
the
you
man.
As well.
Because what's evident is the person that was, sat behind the player here. His route to the top was maybe not conventional, and then his behaviour, how he conducted himself with the people at the international level,
exactly,
really stands out as a person that was very special.
Sergio Krin, the editor-in-chief of the Portuguese newspaper Record, thank you so much for joining us. Sad news, stay with us on talkSPORT this morning. Good morning, everybody. It is mid-morning. We're getting through the morning, actually. 20 past 11 this Thursday morning, Thursday, July the 3rd. It's Jim White, and it's Arsenal Invincible Martin Keown. I'd always be very upbeat about introducing Martin. And why wouldn't I be? And Stuart Pearce, who's a great favourite of ours and a very, very popular contributor on talkSPORT. Stuart Pearce and Martin in studio. But this morning is a different morning for all of us. And it's a different tone due to the news we heard, the sad, sad news, heartbreaking news as we came on air, that the Liverpool forward Diogo Jota had died in a car crash earlier this morning in Spain at the age of 28. His brother Andre Felipe has also lost his life in the crash. The accident occurred near the Zamora region of Sanabria in Spain. Diogo had only got married 10 days ago to his partner Ruta Cardozo, and the couple have 3 children. Martin and Stuart will be obviously coming in and out from this point onwards from the rest of the show in terms of their contribution on air. But we're joined by another member of the football community, a former top player, Portuguese himself, known to Martin, known to Stuart. Luis Boa Morte joins us live this morning on the show. Luis, good morning to you. It's a while since I've seen you. I think the last time I saw you was in the studios of Sky Sports when I was there. And now we meet again. And I'm in talkSPORT, and you're joining us live this morning. But the circumstances are very different and very sad that Diogo Jota and his brother have lost their lives in this car accident. What was your reaction? Was it one of disbelief when you heard this news this morning, Luis?
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Yeah, really, really, really sad news. And when I heard this morning, just couldn't believe. Just couldn't believe. Different generation than mine, but always like nice guy to speak to and talk. Like when we cross each other, either at the airport when we are flying from Lisbon to London, and he was flying to Liverpool, or when we cross each other on the beach. Then we always used to play with each other. That's really, really sad news. So just couldn't believe.
I mean, you were so proud to play for your country. I think you, as a club, I think you played for Sporting Lisbon when you were much younger. And Diogo came through, had a spell at Porto. And then, of course, as you know, Luis, he did so well at Wolves that caught the attention of Liverpool. And Liverpool decided, okay, we're going for this boy. And we're going for him in a big way. 44.7 million euros they spent on him, Luis. What's coming over was he was a wonderful player, but he was such a humble man as well. But as a player, he really caught the eye. I mean, you might, as Portuguese yourself, you must have been so proud that he joined one of the elite clubs in world football in Liverpool.
Yeah, because at this time when you look at it, some memories coming, like when we used to speak. I remember like his last words, like last time we crossed each other, then he just said to me, "You guys have hopes to play against Liverpool when I'm not playing, when I'm injured, because when I'm on the pitch it's a different story, and this is something that I remember it, and of course that it was a huge talent, because I have part of my family, they are Liverpool supporters, and of course they were devastated as well. But more than football, just like what comes to my head is all that family, because parents that lose 2 kids, the kids he left, probably his brother as well, and some kids, just got married, it's tragic.
Stuart made a good point earlier on this morning, Luis. When something like this happens, it hits you so hard, it hits everybody so hard. And in football, only recently, this fella had a career highlight, because Portugal, as you know, won the UEFA Nations League, and Ronaldo was a big part of it, and Diogo was a part of it. So one moment Portuguese football is there, and you're all celebrating, and today everybody's in mourning. It's so hard to take.
Yeah, Stuart is right, because it's so difficult to take, because you all like, you have targets in your life to achieve. You have things to do during the day. You think about this, and suddenly all the thoughts just going towards the same person, towards the same news, or the tragedy, So it's difficult, because today, I think it's today that the Portugal ladies, they will start the tournaments in Switzerland, and I believe that everyone there is devastated. So regardless what you have to do, is like all the news just go towards the same tragedy. Because I'm with my family. We on holidays, but it's just like waking up and like go to your phone and just see the news. One person texts you this or texts you that, and you just like you just lose like all of anything that you like have in mind to do or something like that. You just like I'm completely numb. I'm still shaking. Because just can't believe.
Luis Boa Morte, I hope to see you in the course of the season. When I saw you laugh, you and I were laughing when I saw you last, and we were enjoying each other's company. I hope we can do that again soon. Luis, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
See you. We're coming up to 11:30. Thanks to Luis Boa Morte. Beyond 11:30, I think we'll head to Anfield for more reaction. Apologies for this morning. It's hit everyone so hard. The loss of Diogo Jota, who died in a car accident alongside his brother earlier this morning. It's Jim White and it's Stuart Pearce and Martin Keown. And we're live in talkSPORT. Well, this morning it's Jim White and it's Arsenal Invincible Martin Keown and it's Stuart Pearce, and we are live on talkSPORT. Going to be speaking to the lads in just a couple of moments from now. We are, as you might imagine, in a state of shock, as no doubt you are, all over the country and elsewhere. The news that Diogo Jota, the Liverpool player, died earlier this morning in a traffic accident in the province of Zamora in Spain. As if that wasn't bad news enough, his brother Andre, a 26-year-old professional footballer, has died in the same incident. The car went off the road, causing a fire, and the two boys have perished in that fire. Going to speak to Martin and Stuart in just a second. Absolutely no disrespect intended here, but the world of sport carries on. Of course it does. With tennis at Wimbledon, the cricket is underway as well. We'll get to Sam Ellard at the moment, but let's head to Wimbledon. Here's Lisa Sullivan. Lisa, good morning.
Good morning. We've got 3 British players in action today, and 2 will be facing former Grand Slam champions. Jack Draper playing in the tea time slot against Marin Cilic over on number 1 court, and Dan Evans will take on Novak Djokovic, the 7-time champion, in the opening match on centre. Over on court 18 at the moment, though, Jack Pinnington-Jones, who left university a year early to start his professional career, is finding it tough on tour. Only his 2nd tour level match. He is currently trailing Flavio Cobolli of Italy, the number 22 seed, by a set to love.
Lisa, thank you very much indeed. I mentioned the cricket. Let's go there now. Edgbaston, it's day 2 of England against India. Here's Sam Ellard. Sam.
And a quiet start on day 2. India resuming 310 for 5. The score now 348 for 5. Ravi Jadeja moving to 50 from 80 balls. Much needed runs for India's number 6, who came into this match short on run. Shubman Gill, the India captain, is still batting at the crease, holding this innings together. Not out on 130. He this morning looks comfortable and compact and in good touch, as he did for the majority of yesterday. As Wokes and Stokes opening the bowling for England this morning with a newish ball, but the sun is shining. It's a good pitch, and India will fancy their chances of posting a big first innings total. This partnership worth 137 runs, but England will know if they can break this partnership, they can get into India's lower order. England searching for the breakthrough on day 2. India going along nicely at 348 for 5.
Sam, thank you very much indeed. If you've just joined us this morning, I'm afraid you'll notice by my tone, by the tone of Martin and Stuart here in studio, that it's a different show this morning. It's an extremely sad show in many ways. Diogo Jota 28-year-old Portuguese Liverpool forward has died early this morning in a traffic accident in Spain. It happened on a stretch of road known as the A52 near the Zamora region of Sanabria. He died alongside his brother Andre, a 26-year-old professional from Penafiel. The car went off the road. It's been reported the car, a Lamborghini, the Lamborghini's tyre is believed to have blown out during an overtaking manoeuvre on the road. And the car burst into flames. This happened just after 12:30 a.m. Our time. The emergency services were called, but the brothers could not be saved. Martin and Stuart are alongside me this morning. I mean, what observations are you guys continuing to make this morning? I mean, Martin, the news is coming in. We in this small studio, we have a variety of different avenues of news coming into us here, and they're all reacting to this sad news. Where are you going with this?
Do you know, what I'm noticing is how individuals, we've had Matt Murray, Lewis Boa Morte, former players that have met him, and they feel compelled, Jim, because this is a very difficult situation to come onto a radio show. There's a lot of upset and grief, people feeling that pain, but they feel also compelled to come on and say what a thoroughly decent young man he was. He seemed to give time to the man in the street. He seemed very humble, and that's pouring through from everybody that we hear. So, you know, not only have we lost an outstanding, and we must say his brother as well. I mean, to lose it's a double hit, Andrea, his brother, Diogo, going as well last night in the early hours of this morning. It's really quite tragic, but this seems like we've lost a really special human being as well.
I think Martin made a good point as well off air. He said about does it seem right ringing people with connections to the pair of them? But I think it's part of the grieving process. People want to talk in situations like this, you know. Up in the office earlier, pre-show, you know, as soon as the news broke, people gathering around each other and wanted to talk about it and discuss the situation and stuff. It's almost part of the human grieving process in some ways.
I think Ronaldo as well was very powerful words, Jim, in the statement that he's given, that, you know, he'll always be with us.
Yes.
And that there's a strength in that as well, but obviously very, very difficult to deal with right now.
Diogo had only got married 10 days ago to his longtime partner, Ruta Cardoso, and the couple of 3 children. The mother of his 3 kids. And he described himself at the time as the luckiest man in the world to be her husband. And he shared moving footage of their wedding day in his final Instagram post just on Wednesday afternoon. We're going to go to Anfield now. Many of you want to come on and join us. We will be taking calls 03717 223344. Many of you sending in messages 81089. Thanks to the callers. Thanks to those who are sending in messages. My talkSPORT colleague Matt Jones is outside Anfield. Matt, good morning to you. I mean, how do you begin to describe the mood where you are?
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, incredibly somber mood here outside Anfield this morning. I mean, you can remember 6 weeks ago, this place was partying after Liverpool won the title. It could not be more different this morning. And I've been here for about 45 minutes now, and more fans are congregating. We're outside the main stand where Liverpool have set up some floral tributes, and the flowers, the number of them already is incredible, and that's only going to grow throughout the day. There's so many fans here. There's scarves being laid. There's an Everton shirt I can see in front of me that has been laid down in front of the flowers as well, because people just want to come and grieve, really. Diogo Jota was such an impressive player, but also such an impressive character, and that's why he was so popular here on Merseyside. The mood is just so quiet and somber. People are just mulling around. They're not really saying anything to each other. They're just kind of looking at each other. And I've seen one man in tears. I've seen a couple of parents with their kids here who've been walking away, kind of hugging each other. And I spoke to one fan a few minutes ago, Susanna, and she just talked of her devastation when she saw the news this morning.
We've lost a brother. We've lost a family member. The thing with Liverpool is we're not just a team. He's an honorary Scouser. We've lost one of his own. It's just heartbreaking. It's not just him, it's his brother as well. His poor family. I just can't believe it. Life's just gone in seconds like that. Just who you least expect, isn't it, at the end of the day? It's words can't describe. You just wake up and you just don't expect to see the headline like that. It'll never be the team. We'll never be the same without him. We've adopted him. He's an honorary Scouser. He'll always be one of us. He'll never be forgotten round here.
That's just one of the many fans here who laid forward tributes. I spoke to another just a couple of minutes ago who said that Liverpool should maybe consider retiring the number 20 shirt now in honour of Diogo Jota. He said that was the greatest honour they could give him, really, after what he gave to the club. And obviously, he meant so much. I met him a couple of times and he was just such a friendly and personable chap, always had a smile on his face, and he played his football in the same way. And I think that infectious personality is why so many people have felt the need to come down here today. And as I look to my right-hand side, there's a man here tagging a Liverpool scarf to a tree. There's a bunch of flowers being laid down as well. I read one note earlier that just said, "Forever, our number 20, you'll never walk alone."
Matt, thank you very much indeed. Matt Jones, outside Anfield at this time, as you heard from Matt, there are more and more Liverpool fans gathering as they're hearing the news, maybe through us on talkSPORT and elsewhere and other news outlets. The sad news, such sad news this morning, that Diogo Jota lost his life earlier this morning in a traffic accident in the province of Zamora in Spain, alongside his brother Andre, who also died. Diogo was 28. His brother Andre was 26. Good morning again, everybody. What's left of the morning, it's 10 to midday. It's Jim White, it's Martin Keown, and it's Stuart Pearce, and we are live on talkSPORT. We're also streaming live on YouTube and your smart TV. And we're with you all the way through until 1 o'clock. We're reflecting on the desperately sad news that Liverpool have lost one of their players today in a tragic motor accident. Diogo Jota, at the age of 28, has died early this morning in a traffic accident in Spain. And he died alongside his brother Andre, a 26-year-old professional footballer from Penafiel. Their car, said to be a Lamborghini, went off the road and burst into flames. And neither of the two boys has survived the blaze. Martin and Stuart alongside me, we asked for calls. We are inundated with people who are sending in messages. And some of the messages are extremely poignant. And thank you to everybody who has been doing that. And many of you are feeling that you have the courage and you feel within yourself you can do it, and you want to call and you want to send a message out of your own and bring your own tribute to air, if you like, through us here at talkSPORT. And Carol, you are one of those who has called in, Liverpool fan. Carol, good morning. It's desperately sad. I don't know how you're coping. How are you?
I'm sad as well, but I'm desperately sad because I've been Liverpool supporter for donkey's years. I'm 83 years old. And my grandson, Lewis, actually interviewed Jota. And he said what a charming young man he was. And he didn't have all the, look at me, I am wonderful, like a great many football people are. And he interviewed him a couple of times, and I have photographs of Lewis with Jota, and it was part of his job, actually. And he will be devastated, as we all are. I mean, poor Liverpool. We get so many terrible things happening, and yet we manage to bounce back because we are those sort of people. I live in Birkdale, and a number of the older Liverpool players I used to see quite regularly, and they always used to speak. They're charming people, but we all pull together in this terrible, terrible, tragic accident, and we feel for his poor wife and children and his mother and everybody, and just desperately, desperately sorry.
Carol, thank you very much indeed for your words, and send my regards to Lewis. Thank you very much for joining us. Chris is a Wolves fan. Of course, Diogo played for Wolves before he got the big money move to Liverpool. 44.7 million euros he cost Liverpool, and it was money well spent, clearly. Chris, good morning. Wolves fans in mourning this morning, and you're one of them.
Yeah, good morning, Jim. Yeah, I'm just heartbroken. I'm heartbroken. Why is it the good and honest people, good kind people are taken early? I feel so sorry for his wife and children. They'll never see him again. It's absolutely tragic. He'll never be forgotten at Molineux, never. And I'm sure when Wolves play Man City, the first game of the season, they will pay their respects to him, no doubt about it.
Well, I'm seeing message after message coming through, Chris. Wolves fans saying how proud you all were that when he went to Liverpool, you almost congratulated him because he'd done a job for you, and he was getting a big move to Liverpool. You were happy for him.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Liverpool are a bigger club than Wolves, I must admit. But But what he did for us, he always gave 100% on the pitch, and there'll always be a place in the Wolves' hearts for him. He'll never be forgotten at Molineux. God rest his soul.
Chris, thank you so much for taking the time to call us. As we head towards midday, Gary's a Liverpool fan, one of many Liverpool fans who want to join Stuart, myself, and Martin, and join us all on talkSPORT today at this sad time. Gary, good morning to you. How are you?
Jim, good morning.
How are you finding it this morning?
Jim, man, just heartbroken, Jim. Absolutely heartbroken. And you know, a massive Liverpool fan, pal, and so even just hearing the Wolves fans there before and being on social media and the football community, really. Just even my mates, I'm on WhatsApps with Arsenal fans, United fans. We'd have banter throughout the whole season. I listen to your show every morning, and Liverpool were doing well, and it's just heartbreaking, Jim. I'm shaking. A man that's just got married last week, and his whole life ahead of him, and you just think how life is just so precious. I'm getting married myself, mate, in September, and you think you have your whole life ahead of you. It's super scary, mate. He was an absolute stalwart for Liverpool. Absolute legend with so many goals. A man that came in from Wolves, to come in and try and break a formidable tree of Firmino, Salah, and Mane, and he done such a great job, and was pivotal to when Liverpool nearly won the quadruple, scoring great goals, mate. And he's going to be a huge loss. But look, that's football aside, and his wife, mate, his 3 kids, and his parents that also lost his brother. It's scary, Jim. It's scary. He was a great guy, man, and I'm just listening today to all the football fans around the world, and it's unthinkable, Jim. To be honest with you, pal, it's scary. It's devastating.
Gary, thank you for finding the time to come on and join us this morning. I think we have time, do we? Yes, we have. I think David will take us up to 12 noon. David, you heard Gary there, who's a fellow Liverpool fan. Where are you with this? How are you coping with it?
I'm just devastated, Jim. I keep thinking it's April the 1st and it's some kind of like sick April Fool joke or something, because it's just so sad, and just shows how precious family is and so important. You tell them how much you love them, because you just never know when it's ever going to be taken away from you. You never know when you're going to get that call. And what I would say is, it was quite a thing. He was our number 20, and we won our 20th league title this year. It's been mentioned, but I implore the club to retire that shirt. I think it'd be the right thing to do, and I'm sure the club will do it. And I think that's what we need to do, because he was our number 20, and it wouldn't be right anyone else being in that shirt.
Thank you for that, David. Thank you very much indeed. What do you think about that, Stuart? Martin, you played the game at the highest level. Do you think Liverpool will probably end up doing just that and retiring that jersey?
I think the football club, as they always do, will do the right thing. I think retiring the jersey would be very fitting as a memorial to him. I think not just the player he was, it's what he stood for. All the lessons we've learnt today by people that have been associated with him, and we've got preconceived ideas of what he was like as an individual and what we've seen on a football pitch and his low maintenance way about him. And I think it would be a fantastically fitting way to remember him. I really do.
I agree. And Jim, we've had to bring really tragic news here, trying to convey it. And, the emotion is building, isn't it? The fans, beautiful words from the fans, the supporters, how they loved him. Those Liverpool fans truly did love him. We had a Wolves fan on there, didn't we? The Irish supporter there, summing it all up. This guy was held in massive esteem by his football club, and plus by the way he conducted himself. He didn't always get on the pitch because he had problems last season. He came on in the closing stages for his national team to win another trophy that he won this season. But by and large, this was a really special individual, and you can feel that pouring through the fans with what we're hearing today.
And with two of the toughest guys you could ever imagine meeting, and let me tell you, it's hit them hard. It's hitting us all hard. Actually, I'm going to squeeze another Liverpool fan in just before we get to the break at 12 o'clock, because so many of you are calling and asked you to do that, and you're doing that. Peter, hi to you. This is an extraordinarily difficult time. I don't know how you're finding it, Peter.
Yeah, it's absolutely heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. Like I said, I'd like to pay my respects to his wife, his children. Such an amazing player. I've got twins, 6-year-old twins, one are actually at Liverpool Academy at the minute, who actually adore him. I've got to pick them up from school and tell them the news, It's just going to be so sad. I feel like there's a death in the family. It's unreal, but he's left us with so many memories. We'll never ever forget it. Time against Tottenham, Richarlison gets the equaliser, thinking he's got one over us, and then Jota goes and gets the winner. One of them things. things you'll never forget. Such a role model to all kids out there. And rest in peace, brother. The LFC family will truly miss you.
Peter, thank you. Thank you very much indeed for that. There's much going on at the moment in the world of sport. And of course, there always is. Simon, myself, and Martin when he's on with us, and Stuart when he's on with us. We always reflect that on a daily basis. Today's different, and you know you'll realise why, obviously. But we will bring you up to date with what's going on at Wimbledon. We will bring you up to date with what's going on in the world of cricket. England playing India, the second day of the test at Edgbaston. And of course, to the Lions, in the British Irish Lions, in full swing down under. Maybe when you come back, I think we'll probably end up hearing from the head coach of Japan, one-time England coach, one-time Australia coach, Eddie Jones, who is going to be joining us. It's a different show. It's a difficult show. Off the back of the news that we have lost Diogo Jota, the Liverpool forward who was killed in a car accident in the early hours of this morning, alongside his brother Andre. Diogo was 28. His brother Andre was 26. Good afternoon, everybody. Just gone 12 noon this Thursday lunchtime. It's Jim White and it's Martin Keown and Stuart Pearce alongside me here in studio at talkSPORT this Thursday lunchtime. An extremely sad lunchtime, an extremely sad time for everybody today, following the devastatingly sad news that came through earlier this morning that Liverpool forward Diogo Jota has died in a car crash in Spain at the age of 28. His brother Andre Felipe has also lost his life in the same crash. The accident occurred near the Zamora region of the Sanabria area in Spain. It's being reported that there was a blowout. One of the tyres blew out and the car came off the road, a Lamborghini, and burst into flames. Desperately sad news. Diogo Jota only got married 10 days ago to his partner Ruta Cardoso, and the couple have 3 children. In our final hour today, we'll be heading to 1 o'clock, and thereafter the boys, Paul Hawksby and the others, will be taking over at 1 o'clock. No doubt more news regards this tragic incident will come through in the course of today. I mentioned today that there is a lot going on in the world of sport. Of course there is. There always is. And that's why we're here on talkSPORT, by and large, to cover events such as Wimbledon, which is ongoing. And of course, Lisa O'Sullivan is down there. Such as Test cricket, which is ongoing. England against India. And Sam Ellard is at Edgbaston for us. Such as the British and Irish Lions Tour of Australia, which is now well and truly underway. And part of talkSPORT's commentary team, and we are delighted to have him, is the Japan head coach, the former England head coach, and talkSPORT pundit for the Lions Tour. He's that and a whole lot more. Big name in the world of rugby. And he's Eddie Jones. Eddie, good afternoon to you.
Hi, boys. No, it's been a difficult morning for you, given the circumstance. Terrible news.
It is, Eddie. Thank you nonetheless for joining us. 2 fellas who you will know, of course you will. Martin Keown and Stuart Pearce are alongside me. Well, it doesn't seem appropriate to be talking about the Lions Tour, but of course, Eddie, we will. Of course we will. Before we do that, have you ever had to cope with anything like this? I wonder what it's like for a top coach such as Arne Slot to deal with something like this at Liverpool in days to come. Wolverhampton Wanderers, one of Diogo's former clubs, a club in mourning today. Have you ever been in a similar situation, Eddie?
I've never been in a situation like that. I had a player I coached very, very quickly after he retired, committed suicide. So that was a difficult thing to cope with because, you know, when you coach players, you develop a bond with them and you want them to do well as a player and also, you know, do well as a person. And when they leave so quickly as a coach, you feel that loss. I'm sure, you know, the coach of Liverpool feels that loss very, very harshly.
Indeed. Eddie, I must say, when we were in studio this morning before the news of the tragic news of Diogo Jota came through, I was in conversation with Martin Keown and Stuart Pearce, 2 proud Englishmen, and they both said to me, Eddie Jones is joining us. Oh, terrific. And of course, you had your time as England head coach. So let's talk about the Lions. So 2 wins down under, Eddie, have followed a defeat to Argentina in Dublin. So far, what have you made of what you've seen and heard?
Well, it's been a pretty low-key start, mate. They played against Force, which are the bottom of Super Rugby without their top players, so it's pretty hard to read into that game. And the Reds for 25 minutes competed pretty well. Again, not a top side in Super Rugby out of the top 4. And they were without 4 or 5 players. So the Lions, I think, at the moment, you'd say are untested. And I'm sure that Andy Farrell will be hoping for some more tough games before the first test.
And of course, we hear this morning, Stuart, that Owen Farrell will be returning. That is the news that was breaking as we were coming on air. So Owen Farrell knows his way around, and of course he's son of Andy Farrell. I wonder what kind of difference he's going to make there, Stuart.
Well, that brings me on to a subject. His experience coming into the camp is one thing. The other thing, Eddie, I'd love to pick your brains on this. The injuries that the team suffer You know, they go in, you get picked to play in the Lions, and I know how much it means to the players to be picked. And then these warm-up games, is there any way of avoiding these injuries that are putting players out for the tests that are coming up as well?
Oh, look, it's a hard one, mate. You know, they're playing at the back end of a season that started in July for most of the guys. You know, most of them have played 30 games of rugby, but you know, as you guys know, you need match fitness, and you need to play these games. And Elliot particularly was just an unfortunate accident where he got his arm in the wrong spot making a tackle. But Owen will come in and he'll do a great job.
I was going to ask you about that. Owen Farrell, he stepped away from rugby, Eddie, which surprised many of us in 2023. The international game, he had problems that he needed to sort out, and stepped away from the international game. How do you view his return? What will he give the boys at this level, and what do you want to see from him?
Well, I think if you just look at the facts about Owen, you know, he's played over 100 tests. I think he's the second highest point scorer behind Wilkinson, which is not a bad rap. And he's won everything bar a World Cup. So he's a player that's played in winning teams. He's an outstanding competitor. And I think what he'll bring to the Lions is just that little bit more depth to their side. You know, they've got Finn Russell, who's probably going to start at 10, and then the young guy, Finn Smith from England's, you know, a really promising young player, and he's adapting well to the higher level of the game. But Owen will be a pretty handy third string player. You know, come on and kick goals at above 80%. He's got a huge competitive spirit.
Stuart mentioned the injury issue. What did you make, Eddie, of the pre-tour agreement row? The Australian head coach Joe Schmidt was suggesting he wasn't going to release all his Australian players for the warm-up games in a bid to protect them. Was this a spot of mind games, do you think?
I reckon Joe doesn't want the Lions to have tough games, mate. You know, he's been around long enough, and he obviously knows Andy well. He's got his players in camp. They probably have an elongated pre-season year. They're playing on the back of a Super Rugby seasons, so most of them are match fit. So he's just using the 3 or 4 weeks to get them super fit, get them super cohesive. And yeah, the first test is going to, like most 3-test series, is going to be the most important game.
Eddie, just moving towards that, who do you see as going to be winning these 3 tests? I mean, is Australian rugby right now at its best? And where are the strengths of this Lions team? I mean, he hasn't really formed the team. We haven't really seen them, as you say, the Queensland Red. I watched that match yesterday, and I thought the first 25 minutes it was quite even. Although I thought the Lions were on the receiving end a little bit, but eventually their power overcome them. But where is the real strength in this group for the Lions?
Well, I think as you said, Martin, I reckon their collective power is the thing that's going to trouble Australia. You know, they're able to keep coming at Australia with the Toje, with Curry, with Genge. Then they've got great players off the bench. And their backline's handy but not outstanding. So I don't think you'll see free-flowing rugby from the Lions, but I think you'll see a lot of power, a lot of direct play. You know, Finn Russell will play around the edges a bit, you know, and he's capable of throwing a really good pass and creating a kicking opportunity for his wingers. So I think they'll play pretty direct, pretty powerful, and Finn Russell will bring a little bit extra for them.
The handling looked really sharp and quick from the Lions. You have to say they were relentless, but they were making the odd mistake here and there.
Yeah, no, they look pretty sharp, mate. But when the fence is going backwards, you all look sharp, mate.
Eddie, one of your old chums, Sir Clive Woodward. I'll get to it, Eddie. He was saying he was saying that they better watch out the Lions because they've started slowly against the teams they've been up against thus far. The region, the warm-up games, if you like. And he's concerned, I think, what's coming through from him, that in the tests, if they start slowly, they might just get undone. What's your take on that? In other words, they've got to hit the ground running, Eddie, when they played a test match. Do you and Sir Clive see eye to eye on that one, Mr. Jones?
I don't think we see eye to eye on much things, mate. But look, he's got his opinion. Look, Andy Farrell's an experienced coach, and he's a good man manager. And I think part of it is you've got a Lions squad of 40 players from 4 different countries, and you've got to initially create an atmosphere where they're all competing for spots and everyone thinks they're getting a fair go. And I think Andy's trying to manage that at the moment. And then I think from about 10 days before the first test, they'll start going into test mode, where the starting 15 will start training and driving cohesion. And with the quality of play they've got, a 10-day prep for the starting team for the first test will be enough. But Australia's dangerous, mate. They've got a young team. Joe Smith's done a really good job there. And they've got a young bloke called Sawali who's out of this world, mate. Like he wins the ball better than anyone I've seen in the air in any of the sports in Australia. And he's a big guy, serious competitor. So he brings a point of difference to the Australian team that they haven't had previously. And Australia will be able to probably compete fairly well in the set piece, I would imagine. So, Sawali can do something special at the start of the game and put the Lions on the back foot. Clive might be right. It might be the first time he might be right.
I was waiting. I was just waiting for that, Eddie. Here's Stuart.
Eddie, just out of interest, do you follow the State of Origin Rugby League?
Oh, mate, I love it, mate. It is the best event you've ever seen, mate.
Right, I'm just trying to educate these two Muppets in the studio here, you know what I mean?
That's unfair.
Is it 1-1 at the moment, I gather, isn't it?
1-1, mate. There's all, there's a drama every day. Yeah, New South Wales have got 5 blokes injured. The way they market rugby league in Australia is fantastic. And that's, as Martin asked the question about Australian rugby, it's one of the problems Australian rugby has, that all the best young kids, if they came from a rugby family before, would 20 years ago go straight into rugby, 100%. And now, because rugby league's become so attractive and such a big sport, like, it's equivalent of Premier League in England. It's the biggest thing. Everyone wants to be in it. You're on television, you're big stars, you get well paid. And now kids who are rugby kids are being offered league contracts at an early age, and the best young talent's going to league now. And that's one of the really serious problems for Australian rugby because, as you blokes know, talent's everything. If you don't get the talent in young and develop it, it's hard to have good teams.
Sure thing. Eddie, we're going to rejoin you the other side of this short break. We shall talk more. Eddie Jones, we're delighted to stay a major part of talkSPORT's coverage. Eddie, stay with us. You can rejoin Stuart Pearce, myself and my fellow Muppet, I should say, Martin Keown, as we were so beautifully described there by Stuart Pearce. That's not me. That was how Stuart described us both. More from Eddie Jones after this. It is Thursday lunchtime. It's Jim White, Martin Keown and Stuart Pearce. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank everybody for all the texts and the tweets and the messages and the calls that are still coming in huge numbers this morning and into the afternoon now regarding the desperately difficult news to come to terms with, that Liverpool forward Diogo Jota, at the age of 28, died early this morning in a traffic accident in Spain. It was in a stretch of road, the A52, near the Zamora region of Sanabria, and he died alongside his brother, Andre, who was 26. The car reportedly left the road after a tyre blew out, and the car, a Lamborghini, blew up into flames. It was engulfed in flames, and neither of the two boys has survived. It's desperately sad news. Diogo Jota only got married 10 days ago to his partner Ruta Cardoso, and the couple have 3 children. Such sad news. We shall return to that sad news before we go today at 1 o'clock. The former England rugby head coach Eddie Jones is with us in the meantime as we talk all things British and Irish Lions touring Australia. And of course, we know that the Lions are warming up in the way we thought they would. Maybe not before they left these parts, because over in Ireland they lost in Dublin to Argentina. But they've turned that around with a couple of warm-up games and a couple of wins. And they're looking like the Lions we thought they would look prior to the first test. Eddie, of course, these days, Japan head coach, but we're delighted that he's a big part of talkSPORT's coverage of this Lions tour. Eddie, I want to get into this a bit with you, with Stuart and with Martin, because if two boys know what leadership involves, when these two played at the highest level in their football careers, both at club and international level, they knew what leadership was all about. You know what leadership is all about, and you know, Eddie, what you want from your leader. What is leadership to you, Eddie?
I think it's influencing the best out of the people around you. You've got to firstly be a role model, on and off the field, and then you've got to have that ability to connect with your teammates and find the best, help them find the best of themselves.
It's interesting because I know in the past you were none too sure whether or not Maro Itoje would fit the bill as a leader. You said, I might be wrong, but I'm not sure that Maro is a future England captain. He's going to be one of the great players, but Maro is very inward-looking. He drives himself rather than anyone else. He doesn't usually influence people off the field. Do you think you'll end up changing your opinion of him?
Look, I think, players go through various stages of their career, and I think Maro has got to that more mature stage of his career where he's really comfortable in himself, and I think because of that he's giving more of himself to his teammates, and certainly his display in the last Six Nations as captain of England would point to the fact that I was 100% wrong in that statement, but I might have been right at that time.
I see, you might have been right at the time, but you might end up having to hold your hands up and say, okay, I was proven wrong. Do you back the decision, Eddie, to make him captain?
Yeah, I think it's a great decision, mate. And just watching him play on last night, he's got that zest back for his game. I think, and the guys on the show know better than me, but players go through little periods in their career where your energy, ebbs and flows a little bit, and he had a little bit of low probably in his late 20s, but now he seems to have got it all back, and he's back to his dynamic, energetic, defensive self.
Eddie, I had the privilege of coming in and watching you work at Penny Hill Parks many years ago, and I know you go into other sports to look at other sports in regard to what you can learn. And I think when I was in the door, Owen Farrell had the floor and was talking about the opposition you were going to play at the weekend, and he had probably about a 20-minute forum talking to the squad, which you empowered as well. Do you think that football needs to learn a lot from rugby about how we empower our next generation of leaders and captains?
Well, I think it's interesting, mate. I reckon, there's a definitely generation change in players at the moment. Players now get less leadership opportunities when they grow up. You think of most kids in most elite sports. If they're good in soccer, if they're good at 7, they're immediately into an elite program. And everything's done for them, and all they've got to worry about is being a good player themselves. In rugby, it's probably later, but they have very few life opportunities and very few opportunities to learn about leadership. So now I think you really have to be quite purposeful about giving leadership opportunities to your players in around the team environment. But the big difference in rugby and football is that in rugby, once they go on the field, we've got, as a coach, we've basically got no contact to them. We've got a messenger that can get on every now and then. We can't stand on the sideline and yell and scream like the football coaches do. Although I would imagine that'd be quite enjoyable to do.
I'd quite like to see you do that, I must admit. What is leadership?
Great fun, mate.
Well, let's hear from
It's
Martin.
interesting hearing Eddie speak because I think the most success I had obviously was playing under Arsene Wenger, who actually empowered us to take charge on the pitch. So there were lots of leaders.
Yeah.
There was a captain, but there were 11 captains on the pitch.
Yeah.
And I think you need guidance in how to become a leader, but essentially it's like you create a culture in the way that you behave around the building, on the training pitch, through the week, and then you take that into the games. And that was very much, I wasn't wanting to be a leader. I was myself. That's how I worked and how I operated. But I think in the early days, to say whether you're born a leader, I think that's a really huge debate.
Sure.
I think leadership, is nurtured. And I think that everybody, it's interesting how Mario, where you criticised him and said you might well have helped him to become the leader he is now, Eddie, by actually just poking him a little bit to try and bring it out of him.
That's a good point.
To adjust and become a better leader.
Maybe you did, Eddie. Maybe you helped him.
I won't take any credit there, mate.
Eddie, what you do give us before you leave us, you can give us an Australian perspective. Rob Valentini, Will Skelton, both injury doubts. It's a race against time for both of them in terms of the first test. Would it be a big blow if one or both miss out?
Massive, mate, because I think if Skelton, having coached him in the 2023 World Cup, he's more than a player. He's one of those guys Martin was talking about. He's a guy that galvanizes teams. He's got that nice way with people. He's a huge man. He's 6'8", 135, 140 Ks. And when he talks in a very soft way, but he brings that little bit of steel and brings that little bit of belief. And Valentini's probably the most abrasive of all the Australian back rowers. And he's got a consistency about his play. If those two guys were out, that would severely dent Australia's chances.
Eddie, before you leave us, how's it been for you as Japan head coach? You enjoying it?
Loving it, mate. We're recreating a team. Like they had the interesting Wales, who we play on the weekend, had the oldest team at the last World Cup, and we had the second oldest. And because of that, basically, both group of players from the last World Cup have retired or are too old, and we've both got young teams. They've got a team of about 350 caps, and we've got a team of about 220 caps. So we've got to make up for that little bit of difference in experience. We're playing at home. It's going to be 33 degrees, 70% relative humidity. So it's going to be a tough old afternoon for both teams. So, hopefully we can get off to a good start and keep the pressure on Wales.
Don't forget to enjoy it, Eddie.
I'll
You're making that sound like hard work. I'm one of your players.
Eddie, actually, before you go, you're still a very popular figure in these parts, and I think you're still quite an ambitious man. Do you harbour ambitions to one day be head coach of the British and Irish Lions?
No, I'd rather do Arsenal, mate. I'd love to do Arsenal.
Should I let you off at that? I suppose I should. Eddie, brilliant to have you on board this lunchtime, and thank you for joining us.
All right, good on you guys. Thanks very much. Cheers. All the best.
Eddie Jones with us live this lunchtime. And Eddie, of course, a big part of talkSPORT's coverage, the exclusive radio coverage, of course, of the Lions Tour Down Under, all the warm-up games and all the tests, only here with us on talkSPORT as we are at 12:30. Striker who died early this morning in a traffic accident in Spain and died alongside his brother Andre, who was a 26-year-old professional footballer from Penafiel. Their car in which they were travelling went off the road after a tyre blew out, burst into flames and claimed the lives of both boys. Diogo Jota, 28, his brother Andre, 26. Alongside me today have been Martin Keown and Stuart Pearce, and with the boys until 1 o'clock. In the meantime, before we talk matters Wimbledon, let's get the latest on the cricket. At Edgbaston, here's Sam Ellard.
Yeah, India having a really good morning session. They resumed day 2 on 310 for 5. 20 minutes before lunch, they're 390 for 5. Shubman Gill has reached 150 runs. His first 150 score of his Test career. He's been calm. He's got that steely look in his eyes. The India captain very much leading the front. And yesterday, when wickets at times were falling around him, he's held this innings together, batted beautifully in particular, driving beautifully through the offside throughout his innings. He's now on 258. Ravi Jadeja batting down at 7 today, and in this innings he's past 50. He's 74, not out. England looking a little bit flat out there, Jim. Shoaib Bashir's bowled a lot this morning. No turn or bounce for him. For the seamers, nothing in the pitch for them. England have gone to the short ball tactic, but both Gill and Jadeja are dealing with that with pretty much no problems at all. So I think India will look to get to lunch and then in this afternoon session try and move the score on pretty quickly. Gill's got 158, Jadeja's got 74. India going along nicely at 391 for 5.
Sam, thank you very much indeed. Sam Ellard reporting from Edgbaston. Down at Wimbledon, Lisa Sullivan can tell us what's going on and what's ahead this afternoon. Lisa.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on Jack Pinnington-Jones, who's growing in confidence on court 18. He's taking on the 22 seed Flavio Caboli. It's the British 22-year-old's second ever tour level match, having decided to leave Texas Christian University a year early and go pro. He lost the first set 6-1 to the Italian, but has just played his second tour level tiebreak, and unfortunately that's gone the way of the Italian as well. So it's all to do. He trails by 2 sets. Coming up on centre court at 1:30, Dan Evans will face the 7-time champion Novak Djokovic. And later in the day, over on court number 1, another Grand Slam champion facing British opposition as Jack Draper takes on Marin Cilic.
Lisa, thank you very much indeed. Jack Draper against Marin Cilic. This is coming up this afternoon. You two, Stuart Pearce and Martin Keown, are going to be at Wimbledon tomorrow, as I understand it. You're looking forward to it?
I certainly am. I think the last time I went was after Euro 96. We had an invite then. I went along. I'm not really a massive tennis fan, but when you get there, the levels of excellence that you actually see is incredible. And to share another day with Martin, I couldn't really turn that down, could I?
Quiz in.
No, I love my tennis. Yeah, Jim. There's every year I try and get there if I can. It's just an incredible event to see. Watching Emma Raducanu coming back into her best again. She was really a superstar when she sprung onto the scene about 4 years ago. Of course, she won the American Open. She's back in form, and that is great news. Full of joy. I mean, it's to see. You've got to be happy, haven't you, in your job as a player, and now that joy is back. She's then fulfilling that potential that we all know is there.
So, well, Martin, if you love your tennis, you're going to love this. Former Wimbledon finalist Nick Kyrgios joins us live this lunchtime. Nick, good afternoon. Just a warning, if Stuart Pearce and Martin Keown are about Wimbledon tomorrow, you better watch out, mate. You don't want to cross either of them.
I think they don't want to cross me. I'm just joking.
That's fair.
That's a challenge.
No, good to see you guys. Good to see you.
Actually, Martin's led us in beautifully to it. On Emma Raducanu, she's reached the third round, Nick, and that's great news for everybody who supports her and supports a Brit in the tournament. 6-3, 6-3 win over Vondrousova. How far do you think she can go, Nick, from what you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, look, I actually sat at a pub yesterday and watched Emma play, and it really was a sensational match, and it wasn't just a normal opponent. This is a defending champion who's won Wimbledon before. And to do it in that fashion, 6-3, 6-3, is a massive confidence for Emma. This is a win where it can really lock her in. And I think now she's, obviously got Arina Sabalenka next, in my opinion, the best player in the world on the female side. So you can't get a bigger test than this, but she's ready. And I think that, that win was sensational. And honestly, to beat a defending champion in that style was something different. So, props to Emma.
Is she looking like her old self, would you say, Nick? Is she looking like the girl that won the US Open singles title? Is she looking like the girl who could topple Sabalenka?
Look, a Sabalenka now for the last couple of years has been so dominant. It's going to, she beat Vondrousova, but now this is a whole different level of beast. Sabalenka is someone that's won Grand Slams, but is consistently one of the best players on tour. And Vondrousova's had great success here, but whether or not she's to the level of Sabalenka, she probably isn't. But Emma is ready to go, and with the crowd behind her, I think anything's possible. But this one's going to be a big task.
When it comes to the men, is Carlos Alcaraz still the man to beat?
Yeah, I think Carlos yesterday played incredible, and as I said, I've been working with talkSPORT every day. That first round was a bit iffy, but then he locked in for the second round, and he looked incredibly locked in. And I think now, as the tournament goes on, he's going to be very, very hard to beat. But Jack Draper today has got no easy task. Marin Cilic is. It's a floater, someone that no one wants to see in the draw. But I think Jack Draper he's probably one of the only guys out there that could challenge Alcaraz and Sinner.
What Martin and Stuart are going to see for the first time when they go to Wimbledon tomorrow, no line judges, instead AI technology. Where does Nick Kyrgios stand in that?
I don't like it, honestly. Wimbledon's about traditions. It's the best tournament in the world. And as you enter even the event. You can feel the energy, the prestige about it. So I wish they never changed it. I wish Wimbledon keeps all the old traditions. But look, it was 148 years. Tennis is always evolving, sports evolving. So I understand it. But as I said, John McEnroe, who you can't be serious. Some of the best interactions I've had with the umpires. We're going to lose those content moments, which sucks. But I get it.
Nick, what's happening with your game, by the way? Are we going to see you on the tennis court again sometime soon?
Yeah. I had a bit of a knee niggle 3 weeks ago, and I was preparing to play Wimbledon. Wimbledon's my favourite tournament. It's the best tournament in the world. But yes, I'll be playing very soon. I'm on the court at the moment, just training. I'm playing where all the British guys kind of train. I'm there every day, so hopefully I'll be back soon. But I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying speaking to you guys every day. Honestly, it is fun. I'm not going to lie.
Mate, we enjoyed having you in this very studio the other day when Simon Jordan and myself were engaging with you. It was brilliant. We thoroughly enjoyed your insight. I wonder what your insight is into Alexander Zverev, who went out the other day. Nick, you were in here with Simon and myself the other day, and you were telling us about how much the mental side of it comes into it. And if you're not there mentally, you might not be there physically on the court. And after he went out, Zverev's post-match comments were interesting and very revealing, I felt. Just lacking joy in everything that I do. It's not necessarily about tennis. Just lacking joy outside of tennis as well. This poor fella's in a dark spot, isn't he?
Yeah, the thing is about Zverev, he's number 3 in the world, and he's actually played some really great tennis this year. But there's just so much tennis. Like, it's the only sport in the world where you have to travel 8 months a year, and you're rarely seeing your family, you're rarely seeing your friends. So for him, he plays so much tennis. Even when I was in my prime and I made finals of Wimbledon, I was picking my events very wisely. I wasn't playing all the time. I value seeing my family, my friends. So it's important these guys have that balance. It can become a bit, mundane. You're playing tennis every week, but at the same time, like, it's up to the player, and he lost in 5 sets. So it was a couple points here and there. If he wins those points, this whole thing doesn't really, it's not even a story. But I understand it, but at the same time, I think the media is a bit hard on Zverev. He's number 3 in the world. He's played some great tennis, and look, there's been upsets. This has been one of the craziest Wimbledons ever. The last 2 days, we've seen so many of the top players fall. So not just Zverev, Coco Gauff went down first round. Some of the great champions of the sport are not even in the tournament anymore. So this Wimbledon is something different.
What do you put that down to, Nick? Because the searing heat at the start of this tournament has been very difficult to play in.
Yeah, whether it's the heat, whether it's the conditions, but, all the best players want to play their best tennis at Wimbledon. And I think the immense pressure that all the players are putting on themselves, maybe they're not performing. I know for a fact, even when I'm sitting in the locker room, this tournament just had a different feel about it. The preparations, I always wanted to tick every single box more than once. I don't know, something about this tournament, you put so much pressure on yourself. And I think that's what it is. People are expecting to be perfect in the earlier rounds, and then they start losing, they start getting in tough positions, and they start panicking. And yeah, I think upsets happen.
I can't imagine, to finish up with, Nick, what it would be like to receive a serve from the likes of Stuart Pearce or Martin Keown. I think they'd be wicked with a tennis racket in their hands. I'm only saying, Stuart, don't look at me like that. But the reason I mention is before this week, Nick, as you'll know, the fastest serve ever struck at Wimbledon was from Taylor Dent, 148 miles per hour. A new record's been set this week from Pericard, 153. I mean, where does it end? What was your fastest ever? I think it was about 140, was it?
He got the ball back as well, didn't he?
Yeah, no, he lost the point. That's the funniest thing about it. But I've actually played Pericard, and this guy is by far the biggest server I've ever faced. I played all the big servers throughout my career, and this guy's, it's like he's built in a lab. This guy's 6'7". He's a machine, and the way he serves is something different. But if any of you guys want to play some tennis, you can easily have my contact now. I'm happy to coach you for free. We can play some tennis, but this guy's different. He's a big server.
I've got to say, the two of them are falling over
I've got
themselves
two
at that
screws
invite.
in my shoulder.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, if we play doubles, it's you and Stuart Pearce against Jim White and Nick Kyrgios.
If there were five of us the other side of the net, we still wouldn't beat him.
No chance.
Nick, you draw the short straw, mate, getting me as your partner, but hey-ho, that's how it goes.
That's all right, mate. I'm a good teammate. I play basketball. I love team events, so I'm a good leader. Don't worry, I got you.
Oh, top man. Nick, not for the first time, thank you for your contribution. You have been a star throughout this. Really enjoyed your contribution for talkSPORT.
I appreciate it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.
Nick. Cheers, man. Top man. Cheers. Nick Curios with us live. You two better go and get your tennis whites looked at.
Jim, I've got no backhand, by the way. I've got to tell my partner, I swap rackets to play forehand both sides.
Oh, that is worth seeing in itself.
Yeah, I've got no backhand.
You don't get that kind of time, I'm afraid.
I know you don't. And then that's where it falls down.
Nice to have a smile or two this lunchtime in view of the news, of course, that we sadly had to bring you earlier on this morning when we came on air. And again, I stress thanks to everybody who's been sending in messages and texts and tweets, and many of you who have called. We'll go through those, a few of those before we go off air today at 1 o'clock. The sad news today that Diogo Jota died earlier this morning in a traffic accident in Spain. Liverpool forward at the age of 28, and he died alongside his brother Andre, a 26-year-old professional footballer himself. Desperately sad news.
Traffic and travel with Just Eat. More delivery with Just Eat Plus.
On the M25 between Essex and Kent, it's down to 2 out of 4 lanes each way through the Dartford tunnels, with the QE2 bridge blocked by an accident. There are long delays each way towards there. Queues from junction 3 for the M20 and from junction 29 for the A127. Queues too on the A13 towards there from Wellington and Grays. In the Highland, the A82 is closed each way west of Glencoe after an accident causing queues. And train services are suspended between Stansted Airport and Cambridge, Bishop Stortford and Elsenham with a faulty rail. I'm Russell Holding.
2025 Switzerland on talkSPORT and talkSPORT 2.
Now at Edgbaston, it's England against India. It's the second day, and there has been a wicket in the cricket. Let's join Sam.
Finally, Jim, England have their first wicket of the morning session. India 414 for 6. Ravi Jadeja played beautifully, but he has to go for 89. Josh Tong, finally the short ball tactic working for England. Tong going around the wicket. Short ball, the ball got big on Jadeja. He was on his toes trying to fend it away, ended up gloving it in the air. Simple catch to Jamie Smith. Jadeja goes for 89. Shubman Gill, the India captain, is still batting on 165. Washington Sundar has just arrived at the crease. We have 10 minutes to go until lunch. India 414 for 6.
Sam, thank you very much indeed. Alongside me today have been Martin Keown and Stuart Pearce, and it has been by no means a normal sounding show. I'm quite sure you identified with that very early on. A different tone today because of some devastatingly sad news. Just as we came on air, Liverpool forward Diogo Jota has died in a car crash in Spain at the age of 28. His brother Andre Felipe also lost his life in the crash. The accident occurred near the Zamora region of Sanabria in Spain. Reportedly, a tyre blew out and the car, a Lamborghini, left the road and then burst into flames. On top of that, Diogo Jota got married just 10 days ago to his partner Ruta Cardoso, and the couple have 3 children. A sad, sad story to have brought you today on talkSPORT.
The thing with Liverpool is we're not just a team. He's an honorary Scouser. We've lost one of his own.
Heartbreaking. I was shocked, like all of us.
It's incredibly tragic, incredibly sad. You know, and anyone really, sort of, no matter who they are, if they're cut off in the prime of life, you know, it's hard not to feel empathetic and feel incredibly sad about it. And
he was a fantastic player. You know, he was an honest player. He was never hiding. He'd always put 100% in.
Everyone knows what it's like to lose someone. It feels like we've lost one of our own.
Parents, his wife, 3 young children. You know, this is. I mean, life is just like a candle flickering in the wind, isn't it? And these 2 guys have gone, and it's just like it brings it all home, really.
He will be remembered so fondly for the goals, for the creativity, for the humility.
His song was one of the ones that was sung the loudest and the longest. That was because there was a bond there. That's because we saw something in him that, you know, was our spirit fed back to us almost.
Me personally, I don't know if this is possible. I don't know. We don't retire shirts anymore, but I just feel like as a club, it should be taken into consideration.
The news is absolutely awful, heartbreaking. Celtic fan corner. Jim, Martin, Stuart, I'd like to pay my regards to Diogo Jota and his brother Andre and to his family. It's dreadful news because Diogo's children have lost a father and his wife has lost a husband. Rest in peace, you'll never walk alone. Many other fans of other clubs, and not unsurprisingly, many Evertonians getting in touch this lunchtime with us. And there is one, who's Dean, an Evertonian who lives in Liverpool. Jim, I'm an Everton season ticket holder. I'm devastated at this news, been listening to you this morning. Given time, our city will celebrate Diogo's life and his achievements, and Reds and Blues will come together and support each other through yet another very difficult and testing time. Earlier on this morning, with Martin and Stuart alongside me, I asked for calls on this if you felt strongly enough to come to air and join us, and many of you have done that, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing that, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot to do this show every day. I don't know what it must have been like for you to summon up the strength to come to air and join us on a topic like this with your reactions. We'll squeeze another one in before we go. Liverpool fan Whitney joins us live this lunchtime. Whitney, thanks for calling us. What would you like to say?
Hi guys,
thank you so much for having me on. Just unbelievable, isn't it? Me and my husband, we saw the news this morning. We're both massive Liverpool fans, and like everybody, we couldn't believe it. We were hoping, we were praying that it was some cruel hoax, but unfortunately it wasn't. We were discussing, our favourite moments, and you have the bonds, don't you, as fans? You have the bonds. You think you know the players, and it's just tragic. I'm just lost for words, really. I just want to, like everybody said today, pay tribute to his wife, to his children, obviously to his family. He's lost his brother as well, and I just can't believe it, really. And he'll live on, and I said to my husband, he will never know us, but he brought so much joy to our little family. I remember that goal he scored against Tottenham. It was actually on our daughter's christening day. Apart from football, there's obviously more important things than football. He'll just be missed. He'll just be missed.
Whitney, lovely words from you. Thank you so much for joining us. Martin and Stuart have been with me here. Two very experienced customers when it comes to football. I think when it comes to life as well. Before we go today at 1 o'clock, Martin, what would you like to say as you leave studio this lunchtime?
I mean, it's been a very emotional day, Jim, and this very tragic situation. But it becomes about family, doesn't it? And our thoughts have got to go to and prayers go to his family and what they must be going through. Not one son, but two sons. The abiding thing that's come out of this is how people felt compelled to want to talk about him. Those that met him, those that have been around him. We've lost a very great person, not just a great player, and it's a tragic loss, Jim, for our game and obviously for his family. It's a terrible situation. I think you would echo that, Stuart.
Without a doubt. I mean, at so many levels, this is so tragic. The marriage, the young children, all of that. The stories that we've heard about him, the humility that we think we've seen from the outside has been echoed by all that have met him. And listen, the only good thing that comes from this is the unity of football. It comes together in times of tragedies, and it's done that once again today.
Stuart and Martin, thank you very much indeed. I want to thank you, from my point of view, for helping me get through the last 3 hours. Thank you very much indeed. We've lost Diogo Jota in dreadful circumstances, tragic circumstances, and their family has lost another son as well, because Diogo's brother Andre also lost his life in the same tragic accident. Thanks for being with us nonetheless this Thursday as we approach 1 o'clock